Tension simmers at the dinner table as Alessandra, the unexpected guest, asserts herself. Despite her father's attempts to maintain a semblance of peace, Alessandra's bluntness and Kate's simmering resentment create a volatile atmosphere. Alessandra challenges the established order, refusing to be treated as an outsider and openly expressing her disdain for Kate's perceived insincerity. Kate, in turn, lashes out, fueled by resentment and a desire to reclaim her perceived rightful place within the family. Will Desmond finally assert his authority and restore order to the dinner table, or will he continue to be swayed by Alessandra's presence? How will Alessandra's growing influence within the household impact her relationship with her father and her sister? Will Kate's resentment towards Alessandra escalate further, potentially leading to a more dramatic confrontation?
Alessandra's life was just a big puddle of sadness. This was what she claimed someone was jealous of? Kate covered her mouth with her hand as she snickered to avoid being kicked by her father again.
I have never hated Alessandra. How could a father hate his child? You know that I love you, right, Alessandra?
Desmond smiled, truly believing his words. If he did not love her, why else would she still be living with him when girls her age had already married and started their own families?
I know you love me,
Alessandra replied, watching as her father's smile widened.
From what I viewed love to be as a child, you do love me. From the way you ignore me, look at me with disgust whenever I show myself to your guests by accident, how you allow others to treat me, how you think the Duke could not have fallen in love with me, that is your love. It is how you were with my mother. I can only compare it to a mother's love, but it's not like that was much better. Mother ran away, leaving me here with you. I think I've only experienced the bad kinds of love, but it is still love, right?
Ugh. Desmond didn't know how to respond to Alessandra's confession. He was certain he had treated her right by keeping her with him after all these years. Any other person would have gotten rid of her.
I have kept you sheltered here for many years.
That is your duty as a father. You are meant to protect your child. Father, after the incident, you were the first one to look at me with disgust. It was you who wanted to hide me away and fed into the rumors of me being cursed, even though you knew the truth. I am sheltered here not to be protected, but for your friends to not see me,
Alessandra replied. Keeping her here was not a grand favor when she wanted nothing more than to run away and live somewhere else. Did he really think she liked being here to be tortured by his wife and daughter? If only he had stopped the rumors in the early, or at least stopped what happened to her face, then she would have long left this home and probably be married to someone by now. Katrina couldn't take any more of Alessandra crying and complaining about her life.
You are well above the age to get married. The moment you turned a woman, your father could have kicked you out, but he allowed you to stay here. His duty as a father ended when you became a woman, but you have never been grateful.
Allow me to stay here? Is it not the inheritance you would have to give me should I leave that is keeping me here, Father? Give it to me and I shall leave right now.
Alessandra held out her hand for what belonged to her. When you quietly roamed the house, trying to avoid being seen, you would hear many things.
Alessandra, that's not something I can just hand over to you.
Desmond didn't like where the conversation took a turn to. He did not have Alessandra's inheritance anymore. Desmond was certain she would never leave their home. Therefore, he'd used the money as an investment for a business that failed. She wouldn't have needed the inheritance in the marriage deal he set up with a friend.
Why not? Katrina and Kate are tired of me. If you give me the money, it is more than enough for me to leave this place and never return. I might even leave town and not marry the Duke.
Alessandra continued to push for it. Kate's eyes lit up upon hearing this.
Give her the money, Father. Make her leave.
It's not possible that you do not have it, right, Father? If I bring this information to the court, you could be investigated, as you are not meant to touch my inheritance. This is why he has never gotten rid of me. Alessandra side-eyed Katrina. This was the reason Alessandra had never asked her father to let her leave. When she overheard him speaking about her inheritance being drained, Alessandra knew she couldn't just leave her family. In the end, she decided to look for a man desperate enough to marry her.
I will gather the money owed to you, Alessandra. Do not mention it to anyone, especially Edgar.
Desmond knew he would be screwed if Edgar found out about what he did. Edgar's father was one of the men who fought for children's inheritance to be protected until they either married or decided to leave their families. A large scandal in the town was what prompted this law. Alessandra's inheritance would have been her dowry for her marriage, but with her reputation, Desmond didn't think she needed it.
You didn't think anyone would ever want to marry me?
Alessandra didn't have to read his mind to know that was what he was thinking.
I will keep my mouth shut. However, you should refrain from ever saying you were nice enough to shelter me here for so long. Understood?
Yes.
Desmond had to clear his throat after stuttering. For a moment, he feared the way Alessandra spoke to him. How did she know about the inheritance being gone? Alessandra held a card that could ruin him should she tell the court about this. For his safety, Desmond was contemplating getting rid of her and telling the Duke she ran away.
Alessandra finally confronts her father, Desmond, about his years of neglect and the lies he's woven around her life. She reveals her knowledge of his squandered inheritance, a secret that could shatter his reputation and land him in serious trouble. Desmond, cornered and desperate, promises to repay her what he owes, but his words ring hollow. As Alessandra walks away, a chilling realization dawns on her. Her father, the man who was supposed to protect her, may now be a threat to her own safety. Will Desmond truly repay Alessandra her inheritance? What measures will he take to silence her and protect his own interests? Will Alessandra escape her gilded cage and find true happiness, or will her father's actions forever haunt her? What secrets lie hidden within the walls of Desmond's home, and how will they impact Alessandra's future?
Hey, I'm Alessandra. If you're wondering what happens next, download the Pocket FM app now and listen to the exciting episodes of The Duke's Masked Bride.